Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to episode 171 of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I am your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player like iHeartRadio and hit subscribe. And while you're there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure I'm providing you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And today, we have a fantastic episode with a couple of fantastically talented experts. Dr. Donna Corriel, who is the founder of SoMe Docs, really empowering doctors to take over their own real estate in the social media space. And so she has a lot to say. And Nurse Ali Gorman, a former television health reporter, former Navy nurse, and now founder of the TruthAves app. And she talks about how you can be better for the media. And we will get into these two experts live Q&A from the License to Live stage. And we will kick it off right after we finish thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarrett Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarrett on License to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey. Let's go.
Yeah, recently I was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And for those of you who don't know where that is, it is in the Raleigh-Durham area. It is in the Research Triangle area, and it is home of University of North Carolina. So I happened to be there at University of North Carolina a couple weeks ago and really, really love it. Shout out to UNC. Thanks for the warm welcome and all of that fun stuff. But I had another story that I actually wanted to tell because many of you guys know my morning routine. And I keep with this similar routine every day. I do some mindfulness and meditation, some prayer. I get in some reading and I get in some movement. And those are usually some things that I do. Now, of course, I get in my EH3 in the morning during this part, usually during the reading part, but I have this routine almost anywhere. And I try to keep the routine even when I'm on the road because, hey, it helps me energize in the morning. It helps me deliver energy to people who need it. And it makes me feel good on top of it. So in that Raleigh-Durham area, I can't even think of the name of the park right now, but it has a lake, nice trails kind of around the lake. So I could get some movement in and do some walking, lots of people riding bikes, doing jogging and running. And yeah, I'm not a runner, but I am a walker and I like to walk and observe. And I'm walking along this wonderful trail, taking in the scenery. It's pretty quiet. And just looking at the lake and the beautiful scenery. And I come up to an older lady who is sitting on a bench with a turtle in her lap. And I saw her and she was just kind of holding this turtle in her lap. And I walked up to her and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, is this your pet turtle?" And, and she looked at me. She said, "Oh, no, this isn't my pet turtle." And I said, well, why do you have a turtle on your lap? And she said, "Well, I'm cleaning the shells. I am scrubbing off all the algae and gunk that builds up on this turtle shell." I said, "Oh, you must be a part of a nonprofit or a conservation effort." And she says, "No, this is just something I do to help out." And I said, "Well, to help out? How does this help? There must be hundreds of turtles in this lake, and there must be thousands of turtles in this county, and who knows how many turtles in the state. Just you alone coming and having a turtle on your lap, scrubbing them for a certain amount of time. How can that possibly make a difference?" And she said, "Yes, you may be correct, but if you were to ask this turtle right here, I'm making all the difference in the world to this turtle." And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, now I get it. You are changing this environment for these turtles one by one by one." And that is an amazing story and an amazing perspective. And that is exactly why I look at some of the things in my own coaching practice. And I said, you know what? I love to be able to change things for the masses, but one of the things I do best is making a significant difference in people's lives one by one by one. Many of my clients have gone on to publish their first book now, and many of them are working on multiple books now. I've helped clients hold two jobs at once, but only keeping the good parts of each job that makes it manageable and fun. I've helped clients start off on their side ventures, getting some passion that they have and turning it into a business or something that they can monetize while they transition out of what their main line of work used to be. I've helped people gain higher positions, gone for higher leadership levels, and even help people just tell their story. And when I look at the body of work that I've done with all of these clients over the years, it is amazing. And it's one by one by one. And I love it that way because and just like the lady with the turtles, it's making huge difference in these people's lives. So I wish I could take care of everybody. But if you think that you have something burning, something more, you want something more out of your work life to make your overall life better, give me a shout. Holler at me for a strategy session. Just go to Time with Dr. Jarrett and sign up. Now, one of the reasons I started License to Live the conference is because, well, one by one help is fun and I love it and that's what I do. But I said, well, maybe I could do something that allows for me to help many people at one time. And that's exactly why I started doing this conference. This conference was something that I wanted to do and get a large gathering of experts who would come on the stage. I'd have a large gathering of people who would, actually help train, help open minds, help get greater satisfaction out of life and career. And we started it 4 or 5 years ago, and we have done it every year since. So for all the people that show up at the conference, I love it. It's a great opportunity to network. It's a great opportunity for people to learn something and to meet other people. And I love meeting new people. So I get to meet people live and in person. And one of the great things that came out of this year's License to Live 2023 conference is we were able to do some great Q&A with each one of our guests after they finished their presentation on the main stage. So today we are going to have 2 more experts give you just a snippet that is filled with gems that will help keep you going. And these are things you can apply to your current everyday life that will help you reach those next goals, whatever they may be. So first off, we are going to have Dr. Donna Corriel. She is an internal medicine physician who walked away from medicine. She is a highly creative person. As far as I'm concerned, she's an artist. You look at her social media posts, she puts these things together to make a fantastic presentation. And she's going on to show people how to use social media, how to own your own real estate, and how to put yourself in the spotlight when so many times doctors, nurses, healthcare executives are kind of trapped under the big brand of the hospital. And so by us letting her share some of her story on how she walked away from medicine, we actually had a great conversation when she came off the stage in this Q&A session. What was it like for you to walk away from your medical career as a physician? You said, okay, I've had enough. I'm out of here. I'm going to follow my creative life.
So it was bittersweet. It was very, very hard just from the point of view of the patients. I love that connection, right? That's really golden to me, but I feel like healthcare's broken. So in that aspect, I was happy and proud that I was in a place in my life that I could walk away, right? If we weren't financially stable, then I would not have been able to walk away. So I do consider myself lucky. But if anybody is specifically particularly interested in the specifics, they certainly can Google. Medscape reached out and asked me to write an article. It got a lot of reactions, both good and bad. I actually mean to respond to all the negative comments from the other doctors at one point or another, because I think that some of them are ridiculous, just personally speaking. But you can, even recently I wrote about a post-confession confession, and you can read about everything that I feel about medicine today in healthcare and why it is not conducive to doctors doing a good job, right? And it's many times out of our control. And we're the front face of medicine, and everything that's bad in healthcare lands on us. So it was bittersweet because I was not happy to have left after working so hard to become a physician and working for so many years. But at the same time, I do believe in myself and what I can do, and I am living my dream. So
absolutely. And that's what it's about, living your dream. I mean, you've remained licensed to live for quite some time. I mean, we met years ago in Philadelphia, and I have just admired the work that you're doing to help bring us up. And so my final question for you this morning is, during your lecture today, you said, don't let others control your narrative. Yep. You control your own narrative. Tell us just one reason why that's important.
Oh, wow. There's so many. So one reason is that when others control your narrative, and again, I'm talking about like an online digital footprint, you can't take that footprint with you. So the important example I can give is that when I left a practice, all of those patients, right, we're already stuck with restrictive covenants where we can't move right to where we want to move to practice, which is nonsense. We have to move far away. But those patients that love us, there could be a whole bunch of patients, enough to help us build a private practice. But they won't move because they don't know where I am if it's up to the hospital to tell them. So the hospital system says, oh, we don't know what happened to her. First of all, it makes you look bad, right? And secondly, your followers, your fans, the people that are there to actually see you, which is the crux of what they're doing. They're not seeing you because you're at the hospital. They're seeing you because they love you. It's your relationship with them. But when you have a digital footprint, guess what? All they have to do is just look you up online, or they can already be subscribers, and you can send out an email saying, well, you can now see me at X, Y, and Z. And they don't have to call the office and be told, oh, we're not really sure where they went. So that's one of the main things. And if anybody has any other questions, I apologize for the battery, but if anyone has any other questions, they can feel free to find me online. I'm at Dr. Corriel. I'll put it in the chat, and I'll write my 2 websites, and I'm happy to be found that way.
Thank you so much, Dr. Donna. It's always a pleasure to see you and have you here with us at License to Live. Once again, a round of applause for Dr. Donna Corriel.
Thank you so much.
So make sure you check out Dr. Donna Corriel and all of her works, whether it's at SoMeDocs.com or she loves connecting with people on social media. I suggest you get to know her as well. And she's just one of my many super friends who touched the stage on License to Live. And if you want to see the replay, simply go to licensetoLive.com. We are chopping up each individual lecture. So if there's just one lecture that you really, really wanted to see, we'll give you access to that as well. So, hey, go to licensetoLive.com, check it out. And I will be back to introduce our next guest right after this word from our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarrett's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarrett.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
A strategy session costs you nothing. Timewithdrjarrett.com. I'm more than happy to meet with you. Our next guest who came to the stage, we actually did a License to Live episode, so you could really hear all of her story. But Nurse Ali Gorman, she started her career off as a Navy nurse, and she served our military through her nursing abilities. And it wasn't long before she decided that she wanted to have a career in journalism. So she had TV journalism that made a whole lot of sense for her. And it was something that she was able to have. She was on the TV virtually every single day in Philadelphia on the ABC affiliate here. And she would have stories day after day after day. And she even was the main go-to person during the COVID experience. But as busy and as successful as she was in that career, she also decided to walk away from her main line of work, which she had created for herself through her journalism expertise. But she wanted to take on something different. And in her episode, which I'll leave the episode in the show notes because I don't remember it off the top of my head, she talked about how she walked away from this perfectly lucrative job and wanted to start and continue a venture on her own. And she developed and founded the True Faves app, which you'll hear her talk about a little bit in this clip. But she also is a media expert. So being a media expert, she brings this expertise to you. So if there are things you want to do, like I know a lot of you guys have seen my sizzle reel, just type into Google Dr. Jarrett Sizzles. It'll pop right up. And I have a couple of different sizzle reels there of media and speaking events that I've done in the past. And she was here on the License to Live stage to tell us how to be better in front of the media. So let's take a listen to her Q&A session. In your presentation, you mentioned right off the bat, you had me chuckling that you're used to just giving, 2 to 3 minute segments as far as presentations go, which is great. But that goes to show, again, how the media cycle runs very fast. And you gave us good tips about trying to reach the journalist, making sure they have your cell phone number. So don't be afraid to give that cell phone number to these reporters. They don't have time to be prank calling you. They need to get a story. They have a deadline. They have some work to do. And if they reach you first, there's a good chance they're going to use you. But if you're on the air for these 2 or 3 minute segments that you're doing, people like yourself make it look very easy, but I heard you mention practice. Why is it important to practice before you go in?
Yeah, it just like anything else, the more you do something, the better you get at it. And also the more comfortable you are. I mentioned that story from Lansing, Michigan. I'm not joking. I blacked out. I don't even really remember the live shot. I was that nervous. Even starting in Philadelphia, there was a reason the news director only wanted someone with 5 years anchor experience. I didn't have it. I still got very nervous. The longer you do something, the less nervous you're going to be, and just the better you get at it. And you don't want to come off as nervous. You want to come off as confident and authoritative, especially if you are the expert that's being interviewed. And you want to go in knowing what your message is and what you think people at home need to know. So you want to be clear with that.
That's awesome, because honestly, when I have to do a television segment, sometimes it's a quick turnaround. Sometimes I have some time. But the first thing I do for myself is try to get in the practice mode, visualizing it if I'm going to be on Zoom, be prepared for these technical challenges. Both you and I are hardwired to the internet, which is great. But sometimes something still may go wrong, and we may have to do a quick backup or something else. Or if you're going to be live in the studio, seeing what's going on in there, because that too is great. So you gave us great examples of how to continue on with that. But the last question, could you give us a tip or two in regards to just having yourself ready to look good in front of the camera?
Yeah. So, the old advice, be yourself. You definitely want to be yourself, but you do want to, as I say, solid colors. You don't want patterns or anything that's really distracting. Makeup, just do what you normally do, but maybe a little bit more. Especially if you're live in the studio, just recognize that the lights are going to be very bright and very hot. I'm very fair skinned, so I put on extra makeup. Otherwise, I look even more fair skinned. The light just kind of goes like right through you, and it can also make you look shiny. So you can even look on YouTube. There's some great just kind of tutorials how to do makeup for TV. And then, don't get too in your head about it, because it really is about what you're talking about, and you want that message to come across. So just do what you normally do. But if you're live in the studio, maybe a little bit more makeup. And then you can always ask the producer as well, do I look okay?
Oh, excellent advice. Hey, do I look okay? Just get an honest feedback. No, your tie's crooked or yeah.
Yeah, if your hair's out of place, they're going to tell you. Because right. They don't want the viewer at home being like, what's going on with your hair? They will tell you. They want you to look good. They want viewers to hear what you're saying, not looking at something kind of, off.
And that's what we're talking about, because I think there's another message in that answer, actually. And you said a little bit more than you might normally do. And that makes me think about energy and having that energy to put out there for the television. So tell us about energy and having your energy right in regards to maybe a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, it's funny. A news director once told me that it's much easier to bring a reporter or, anyone on TV down in energy. It's very hard to get them to come up. So, it goes back to being comfortable, but you want to be passionate about what you're talking about and have that energy. As I say, people tune out robots. If you are a robot just talking facts and figures and you're wearing your white coat, it may not come across as very engaging. So, just speak with passion, especially if it's something that you really, do feel passionate about, let it come through.
Excellent. Let that passion come through. Nurse Ali Gorman, thank you for what you've given us today. It's amazing tips that you had for us. Thank you for joining us on License to Live today. Where can people find out more about you?
So you can go to my LinkedIn. It's just Ali Gorman, ALIGORMAN. You can also go to aligorman.com. As I said, there is something on there about consulting, but anybody who's on this conference, feel free to reach out, free of charge. Happy to talk through things with you, where you are, where you'd like to go. I can give some tips, remind you of some of them here. And then if I have any connections, I'm happy to make those connections as well. And then also check out truefaves.com, TRUFAVES. It is a free download on iOS and Android, and it is a way to save and swap recommendations with your friends, people that you know and trust in real life.
Absolutely. And so make sure you take advantage of this. You know, Ali can't do this for everybody, but she can do it for you guys. So do not waste these opportunities. And please check out the True Faves app. We talked all about it on the License to Live podcast. It is something great that it started with an idea of a group of her and her friends. She said, maybe I can solve a problem while doing something different. So check out the True Faves app. It's really cool. Thank you, Nurse Ali Gorman, for being here today. You really enlightened us on our media presence and where we need to be, especially if we're talking about working with reporters in our career. Thanks again for being here. And we hope to see you again very soon. Make sure you check out Nurse Ali Gorman on social media and through the True Faves app. The True Faves app is something that she developed herself, and she's taken it off. She is really showing you if there's something that drives you, if there's an idea that you have, if there's something that motivates you, that is what you should go after. You shouldn't just be doing stuff in your work life that somebody told you should do or you thought you should always do. There's too much unhappiness there. Go do your own thing and make a world of difference, not only for you, but to many other people. So thank you for doing that. And thanks for Nurse Ali Gorman for lighting up the stage in Philadelphia at License to Live 2023. Folks, we have some great guests for some upcoming shows, things that are happening, things that are going to make your head spin when you hear some of these stories. So continue to listen to License to Live, the podcast, because, hey, I make this show for you. I enjoy engaging and interacting with people. And if I am helping you get a better grasp on your life and your career, I am happy to do so. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been disengaged, dissatisfied, disgruntled, disenfranchised with healthcare, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player like Spotify and hit subscribe to License to Live. And while you're there, give me feedback. Let me know what you want to hear about so we can keep providing you the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And in between episodes, I tend to hang out on LinkedIn. You'll see what I'm doing. You'll see what I'm up to, some of the thoughts that I'm having in between. And until then, I'll see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.